Today we are working Psalm 52. Some traditional magical uses for Psalm 52 include to overcome injustice and to end gossip. And today I would like to use Psalm 52 to overcome corrupt people in power. The way we work psalm magic is simple, easy, and effective. We take the psalm in question and we speak it out loud all the way through once without stopping. We call this an incantation. After we've finished the incantation, we go back through the psalm and we consider each verse one at a time. We dig for hidden, sometimes called occult meanings that lie within each verse. We see these as magical seeds. And these seeds are the potent forces that bring our spell to fruition. By searching, digging, finding, and applying what we find in the psalm to the situation at hand, we are in effect dislodging the magical seeds necessary for our spell right from the psalm and planting them in the depths of our mind, where they take root, they grow, they blossom forth, and they bear fruit after their kind. And that is what we are going to do together right now with Psalm 51. Why boastest thou thyself in mischief, O mighty man? The goodness of God endureth continually. Thy tongue deceiveth mischiefs like a sharp razor, working deceitfully. Thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness. Selah. Thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue. God shall likewise destroy thee forever. He shall take thee away, and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place, and root thee out of the land of the living. Selah. The righteous also shall see and fear and laugh at him. Lo, this is the man that made not God his strength, but trusted in the abundance of his riches, and strengthened himself in his wickedness. But I am like a green olive tree in the house of God. I trust in the mercy of God forever and ever. I will praise thee forever, because thou hast done it, and I will wait on thy name, for it is good before thy saints. The psalmist is addressing the perpetrator of the mischief in this opening. When it says, Why boastest thou self in mischief, O mighty man? The mighty man is a person everybody believes is mighty. Everybody believes is strong, especially the person themselves. The psalmist is being rather sarcastic here in calling this person a mighty man. If there is somebody in your life that is seemingly powerful and corrupt and holding power over you, this is who the psalmist is directing the psalm toward. But as with all psalm magic, we have to also find the corresponding thought form within our own mind. So wherever we have our own arrogance, wherever we're looking to ourself and our so-called riches and our so-called power, I'll handle it myself, rather than calling upon the infinite to handle it for us or through us and with us, saying, no, I can do this all by myself. Those are the tendencies within our own personality that we need to also address, because you can't have one without the other. So if you want to end the corruption, if you want to end the problems with this person, you have to keep your own side of the street clean, so to speak, and clean up that within your own mind. Why boastest thou thyself in mischief, O mighty man? The goodness of God endureth continually. The goodness of the infinite endures forever. It never stops, it never starts. It's always there. And that goodness is the force out of which we are created. And it's the force out of which this person or these people are created as well, even though they don't see that. Even though they are acting as if they are separate and they are their own power. Thy tongue deviseth mischiefs like a sharp razor, working deceitfully. These people that have this false sense of power that they can lord over others, get people afraid of them, get people to believe they have power, they have this power based on their ability to deceive. They don't speak truth. They only speak lies. It's important that we look within ourselves and ask ourselves, where do we speak lies? Where do we falter when it comes to aligning ourselves with divine truth? And it's important to understand that once we recognize we don't want to have deceit within our own minds, we have a stronger footing in which to call upon the powers to overcome these people or this person. Recognize that when we call upon divine truth, that is one of the infinite's names, infinite truth, divine truth. And when you call upon divine truth and you invoke divine truth, it must appear, and it's mighty. And this mighty truth that must appear overcomes all of these lies, overcomes all these falsities in amazing ways. And we must continue to be steadfast in our calling upon divine truth and being willing to overcome our own tendencies to be deceitful. Thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness. Selah. When someone decides to use their divine power of speech to lie and to deceive and to be corrupt and lord power over other people, they are removing themselves from the righteousness which is their birthright. And when they do that, they will be destroyed. That kind of evil always destroys itself. And we have to recognize that and have our footing strong in our own righteousness and our own understanding that we are extensions of the infinite ourselves. Nothing can touch us. We are infinite spirit, and nothing can touch us. And when we have that conviction, then we are in a posture of power to call down divine truth in abundance, to overcome rapidly and very profoundly any of this deceit, any of this corruption, any of these problems being heaped upon us. Thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue. So when somebody like this is drunk with their own power and they really believe their own nonsense, they drink their own Kool-Aid, they come to love that more than love the truth. And they believe their own nonsense. And it's really sad because they do get destroyed. They end up very lost, very dejected, and have no footing in this world. They do have their own righteousness, and eventually they will come to terms with their own righteousness, and they will be one with the infinite again. But what it takes to overcome their own deceit is very painful, and it is sad knowing that, but that's not really our business. Our business is to call upon divine truth, call upon righteousness, and allow that power of righteousness and truth to make right that which is being done by this person or by these people. God shall likewise destroy thee forever. He shall take thee away and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place and root thee out of the land of the living. Selah. Ultimately, the infinite has no desire to destroy this person's soul, but truth, when it prevails, destroys lies. This person is so identified with their own lies, with their own self-image, with their own deceit, that when truth reestablishes itself and destroys the lie, they feel like they themselves are being destroyed. And it seems almost as if their very identity is shattered forever. Ultimately, that's not true because they, just like all of us, are extensions of the infinite, and their soul is still righteous, even though from their point of view, they have no access to that right now because they are so entrenched in their own deceit. So it will be like they are plucked out of the land of the living, that they are completely destroyed, because from their point of view, that's who they are. And so until they are able to recognize who they are as souls, this false self that they have established and lorded over all of these other people will not be able to withstand the truth as it is established. The righteous shall also see and fear and shall laugh at them. To laugh at them is the healthiest way to allow this magic to happen. When our response is laughter, that dissolves it. It completely undoes it. There was that wonderful scene in Witches of Eastwick where the Jack Nicholson character is being extremely mean to these witches. And the witches discover, oh, we can undo this by laughing at it. And the more they laugh, the more his power is drained. And that's the best way to handle any of this that's happening, knowing that righteousness is prevailing, knowing that truth is reestablishing itself, knowing that everything is being rebalanced. The more we can laugh at it, the faster we have our outcome that we desire. Lo, this is the man that made not God his strength, but trusted in the abundance of his riches and strengthened himself in his wickedness. Any person that believes that their ego is stronger than God is setting themselves up for pain, for destruction, for annihilation. And that's why we have to make sure that our footing is strong. We don't want to allow our egos to be in charge of our response. We go straight to the infinite and allow the infinite to respond for us. We allow the infinite to do its work through us, and we stay connected to our righteousness. The trick of the ego is to have ego respond to ego so that we become entrenched in our own egos, and then our own destruction happens when we call down divine truth. So when you're calling divine truth upon a situation, when you're calling divine righteousness down upon a situation, you must be willing and able to let go of your own egoic behavior and thinking, because you don't want to bring down your destruction on top of it all either. But I am like a green olive tree in the house of God. I trust in the mercy of God forever and ever. And this is what the psalmist is talking about. I have to focus on my righteousness. I have to focus on who I am as the green olive tree planted in the house of the infinite, constantly watered and nourished and nurtured by the infinite, knowing that my role is to be an extension of the love and righteousness of the infinite, not to make judgment upon this person or these people, not to throw my own curses and hexes at these people, not to do anything other than be that olive tree. Think about an olive tree. An olive tree is nourishment for a community. It's rooted deep into the earth. It flourishes, and it brings forth good after good after good. And we want to be that, where we are bringing forth good after good after good. And when we are planted deeply in the soil of the infinite, these problems, they don't affect us. In fact, what we have then is, as we said before, strong footing that we can call down upon a situation, infinite truth. We can call down righteousness. We can call down all of those qualities of the infinite. Infinite soul, infinite spirit, infinite life, infinite intelligence, infinite truth, infinite love, infinite law, infinite presence. And those things, those names of the infinite will right the situation, and we don't have to get our egos involved in it whatsoever. We stay planted in that divine soil and trust in the mercy of God forever and ever. We trust that this is handled. We trust that this situation is being handled. And yes, we have a part to play in it. Our part is to stay centered in our righteousness and call down upon the situation, those qualities, those infinite names of the infinite, and let them do the work for us. I will praise thee forever, because thou hast done it, and I will wait on thy name, for it is good before thy saints. So remember, the saints are all of those qualities within us that the infinite gave to us at our creation. So we already have those saints working on our behalf in our own identity as infinite souls. And so when we praise the infinite, and it says forever, that means right now, we recognize it's already been done. We've done our part, and we don't have to be a part of the problem. We can remove ourselves from the problem, and it says, wait on thy name, meaning have patience and understanding and know that those qualities of the infinite are doing their job, and this situation is being handled. It will be perfect, and the less that we interfere, the better. Our job is to be that olive tree and to continually call upon the names of the infinite or those qualities of the infinite onto this situation and let those qualities do their work on our behalf. So you just keep coming back to the same psalm again and again until you get a sense of peace and certainty that the situation is working out. And when you get that sense of peace and certainty, it's an indication to you from your deep mind that you've done it, and that the spell has been cast, and there's nothing more that needs to be done. And it's at that point that you take your mind off the situation completely and move on to something else. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Until next time, blessed be.